sitting here with my co-host,
Chris at Cubano Cabrera.
and today you are dealing with cigars, sandwiches and cigars. I'm sorry, people, I am flustered, but you know what? When you get this podcast, you're going to get the true mood of the podcast.
And we're doing it in an open cigar lounge. We have full activity.
People are running around, talking, having a good time. So, like I said, bear with us. We're going to get through this, and we're going to have a great time doing it. So, Chris, what is the topic that we have going on today, my friend?
So today, man, we're doing the shocking truth of why men are terrified about commitment.
Right. I'm still shocked right now, to tell you the truth.
I'm shocked based on half the things that I read. Because, obviously, you and I can talk about whatever fears or no fears or whatever we have as far as commitments are concerned because of our past. Mm-hmm. However, when you go researching online, the things that I found out, the things that I've read are just, it's crazy how far back that the fear of any type of commitment, whether it be relationship or, committing to a job or committing to a career or, whatever the case may be, goes back all the way to your childhood. And one of the things I read about the most was especially the mothers who are more involved in the child's upbringing, the man's upbringing per se. So I read a lot about how because it was a feminine raising of a child, so basically the mom, the kids are not raised with that testosterone, what you need to, yes, that, you're not really an alpha.
Right.
So it leads to a lot of insecurity. And with the insecurity comes the fact that you're not going to be secure enough to handle a relationship. Obviously, there's other topics that we're going to talk about that lead to, if you weren't raised in that scenario, because not everybody was raised by a single mom. There's other things that happen through your life from childhood to adulthood that create the fact that you're scared. You're scared to want to commit to somebody. Mm-hmm. Female, obviously male or whatever.
I'll tell you the truth. I told you this before, that I feel that a woman cannot raise a man child. I'm going to say that to teach him how to be a man,
right.
Not to just raise him, because
they can raise him. They can raise him great.
But you cannot teach a man if you're not a man. And a lot of people try to grasp the fact that, I'm going to be this mom, I'm going to teach my son to be this, I'm going to teach him how to be, kind and nice to women, and that's all great. But a lot of times that puts that void into them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It absolutely does. And, let's speed it up and get out of the childhood era, because I feel like the fear of commitment these days is more of what happened to you in the past.
Right.
So, in my case, I've been through 2 marriages. Do you think that I'm 100% secure about jumping into a third one?
Hell no. If you really be crazy, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm a firm believer that nobody deserves that baggage that you're going to bring on.
Absolutely.
Because that's what you're going to bring to this relationship. Baggage. You're going to sit here and you're going to be thinking everything is cool and sweet and all that good stuff, and it's going to be awful.
Absolutely. So, for my last marriage, I'm going, 2.5 years in, and I'm still doing this podcast right now telling you, I'm not going to just jump into a third marriage.
Right.
The fear of anything that could ever happen again could possibly happen again.
Right.
Simple things that probably most men are scared of. Getting into a relationship and being controlled.
Oh my God.
Or vice versa.
Losing control. You can lose control just as fast as you can get it.
And when you lose that, and I don't want to say, I guess using that word control is harsh with both. Because obviously when you come into a marriage, it should be a mutual thing. But a man who's afraid to commit, one of the reasons that they're afraid to commit is they don't specifically want to be controlled. You can imagine being a man. You're supposed to have some sort of the upper hand because we've always been raised to be the provider, the stronger of the human race, things like that. I don't know if I said breadwinner, but breadwinner, decision maker. If you can't at least partake or have a upper hand in those things, the relationship is something that you're going to fear getting into.
It becomes null and void. So you're basically just sitting there just to be sitting there. You know what I mean? Who wants to do that? You don't want to be with your significant other and you guys can't even sit there and have a decent fucking conversation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Conversations when y'all sit here and try to have them and talk to people with each other and everything turns negative. It's just not what it needs to be to move on, to be able to commit. You know, I tell you truthfully, a lot of times when I sit back and I'm like, do I really want to commit to this person? Do I want to put this person in a situation that I know that I'm not fully in?
Right.
And then to sit here and say, okay, you have to be this person, this.
Right.
So you're making somebody change to fit your needs.
And I noticed, I'm going to give a little bit of an insight of how I started feeling towards the end of my second marriage. I was withdrawing. Mm-hmm. I knew I was withdrawing. I knew that when I laid in the bed, I was like,
what the fuck am I doing here?
Why is she happy? Is she sad? Or, you have a full fucking time job responsibility to make sure that other person is happy. Or, that they're able to enjoy a marriage with you.
You're not going to be able to satisfy all the time.
No.
But, see, okay, people, let me let you put you on a little secret. Satisfying and keeping somebody happy are two different things.
Right.
Now, a lot of people get that confused together. Oh, but I satisfy. That's great. But do you keep her happy?
Right.
Does she want to come home to you?
Right.
Does she want to come? You know what I mean? Does she? Because a lot of people. See, I feel that men, when it comes down to this, we connect with physical.
Right.
A lot of females don't get that. We are a physical being and all this, but the female end, they're emotional.
Absolutely.
And their emotions get into something so deep and when you just can't get it right, I'm telling you, it can get ugly, bro.
And imagine, so what you're saying can create a lot of stress, anxiety, a lot of work by the man himself. Now let's just say that he's failing and he's already starting to withdraw.
Right.
A marriage is supposed to be both parties working together to obtain, happiness and, being able to move forward. When the man is already starting to withdraw, that shit is bombarding him and hitting him and making him go away. Now, mind you, that entire time it's imprinting in his heart and soul all the negative things that are happening to him over and over and over again. And no matter how hard he tries, he's not going to be able to come back from it. So it creates that sense of failure.
And I'm going to tell you the truth. When men fail, we fail hard. We fail hard, bro.
I'm 2.5 years in.
Right.
And I have been working on myself. I've done so much stuff. I mean, obviously,
you've done a lot of soul searching.
Yes, and now we got this podcast. We've got other things that we're working on. So yes, things have progressed. But the only thing that I don't feel that has progressed is me being ready to 100% commit to a marriage.
Right.
I can commit to somebody slowly but surely because when you're dating and stuff like that, you have that ability to go in baby steps. When you're going into a marriage, I feel like once you get that.
I'm gonna tell you this, Chris. On a personal standpoint, for me, when it comes to marriage, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it. I don't think I'll be able to make that commitment again because I think the way that it ended, it was.
Mine ended.
You know what I mean? So it's like I can't really say that I want to be in another relationship like that.
Right.
Because it ended so hard, bro.
Well, and when it ends real hard, it hurts real hard. And when I think back from my first marriage and my second marriage, two different types of hurt, but nonetheless,
still
hurt.
Still hurt.
And with that hurt, it created that distance that I now have for wanting to commit to a lifetime of, the exact same stuff. And we like to date young. We can't deprive them of if they want a child.
Bro, no. See, I think.
Unless you do that up front.
Let me ask you a question. Will you do it again, bro? Will you have another one? Be truthful now. You can tell me the truth. Will you have another one?
So I have to leave it on 50-50 because I don't want to say no. but I don't want to say yes just yet.
Bro,
And I've got a granddaughter coming in July,
you know what I'm saying? You realize how old we are, bro?
Oh my God, I'll be in a walker by the time they all have to get out of the house.
Before they get out of high school, bro, we'll be in our 60s.
I don't even want to.
See, did you think about that for a
Now I'm.
You'll be in
all right,
your
so
60s, bro.
So we're 51-49 now. No more 50-50.
Right, you see what I'm saying? So think about it. You got a big man child. You want to try to get out of line. You're gonna have to really get in his ass.
I'm gonna have to carry a taser.
You're gonna have to, cause look, he's gonna be like, "What you talking about, old man?" I'm like, "I'm talking about this." I'm like, I gotta shoot you, bro. You put your hands on me.
And I'm gonna go back and go. I remember this podcast, Fear of Commitment. You know what? You two have a great night. I'm out.
All right.
So other things are fear of commitment. Fear of rejection.
Oh, rejection is hard.
So that, I'm telling you, when I used to work out before, I mean, I'm working out now, but obviously I'm not where I was before. I had no fear of rejection. Why? Because I was confident. I wasn't insecure. None of that stuff. Now that I took a couple of years off, I was obviously married, and that comfortable thing settled in, and you guys know that once you get comfortable, things just change, and it changed.
It does.
So
I'll tell you that is I don't think it's number one when it comes to it, but that comfortable is definitely a fear. That is something that it can kill a relationship.
It eats you up.
It can kill a relationship, bro.
But so what I was saying about the fear of rejection is, I see myself now not going up to the same caliber of women.
We talked about that one day too, remember?
Yeah.
We were sitting out front, and we saw this beautiful bad chick walk by. First thing came out of our mouth is, "Bro, that's a headache."
But you know what that taught me? Mm-hmm. And I obviously didn't correlate it with fear of commitment.
That lets you know you're growing.
Growing, but you're not there yet.
Right.
You're not there yet. So the fact that I see this stuff happening that we're talking about, I know that the way that all of this got better for me before was no more commitments, no more looking for a partner. It was, you know what? I'm going to put my heart and soul into working out, my heart and soul into the club that I owned, and all of that came together. And guess what popped out of the blue?
You know what? I'm a firm believer. Love comes when you are not looking for it.
Absolutely.
It's the best type of
So you don't have to worry about rejection or
when
getting hurt or getting controlled because you're not looking for it. And when you're looking for it, you're going to find the toxic person that fits this.
Right, and then you find a better caliber person. And that's hard to find nowadays, to get the right caliber person, because in both ways, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize when it comes to a man, sometimes we are not ready for that. But we love to be around you. We'll be around you. We'll hang out with you and all that stuff. But when it comes to sitting here and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And then they're like, wait a minute. I don't know if I want to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? So we went on to so we said fear of control.
Right.
And we did that one. We said getting scared of being hurt. I think, what about just aren't mature enough, bro?
And I was thinking about that one right now. Maturity level. I guess it all depends on what age you're talking about the fear of commitment. Because at 45, where we're at, we should be mature.
Right. But, you got a lot of guys that, they want to, some guys are all they're looking for is a wife.
Or they were mature. They were mature when they got into the relationship. They got so hurt based on however that relationship went away that they got to a point where they're like, you know what? I don't want to be this guy anymore. I just want to go play. I just want to go do whatever.
I don't want to be with my friends.
I don't want to be that guy that you committed so much and you gave so much, and then it went away. It went away, and then it leads back to the same stuff of being hurt. Insecure. It brings all of those features, or those emotions, and it changes you as a person.
All day long.
It changes you as a person.
All day long.
Now, we should flip the script a little bit. So obviously, the fear of commitment is not just insecurities or fear of rejection, whatever. Imagine being in a relationship, and what was our last topic? Being cheated on. So
you know what, Chris?
So let's
say that. Listen, ladies, I'm gonna tell you this. I know a lot of y'all hit me up on my DMs. You motherfuckers talk bad about me. They talk bad about me, Chris. They talk bad about me.
I remember seeing some of those.
I got called a piece of shit. I got called everything. But that's just me, ladies.
My daughter sends me a text message going, "Dad, white girl slayer, really?"
Yeah. Right. But let's go ahead and get into it.
So imagine, let me give you just a little quick scenario. Let me build up what the relationship should. So let's say you have a man that has a master's degree and is a CEO of a very, very profitable and prominent company.
Right.
You have a beautiful woman at home. Everything's going fine. You got beautiful kids. You're vacationing year after year after year, whatever. And then the pool boy comes around.
Rock solid.
You love it. Oh, and let me add this.
BBC.
You're one of those type of families that you celebrate all the holidays with family. You have massive get-togethers. I'm just trying to paint that little picture that makes it to where the moment you find out that person cheated, destroys you as a person.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. Let me give you guys a rundown of something. I'm glad you said that. Let me hit you with this. So I'm a firm believer. If you don't want your family to say anything negative about your significant other, don't you say it.
Yes.
Don't you say it.
And you know what?
Hold on. Don't come around. Don't be talking about Jethro at the goddamn cookout. And when he get to the cookout, everybody look at him crazy.
You're gonna have both my ex-wives, if they're watching this or watch this at any point, go, let's see what he's gonna say next. Was I at fault for stuff like that? Absolutely. Once I got heated, obviously
you do spill off. You get heated.
I called them out their name.
You let them have it.
And they stuck with me for years on end. Well, the first one more than the second one. But I realized that I was creating probably a fear of commitment in those two women, because I then was like, is this what these men are going to be like? Are they going to, when they get pissed off, are they going to call me out my name and all that stuff? I regret every single moment that those things came out of my mouth.
I tell women this all the time when they hit me up, Chris, and I tell them, you can't get mad at what your mama and your daddy and your uncle and your auntie say about this man. If you're saying it, they're going to say it.
And you know what's sad? I wasn't raised like that.
Right.
My mom and dad never did that stuff to each other. Where in the world I came with that stuff came out of my mouth, I had no idea.
That comes from pettiness.
But I tell you what, when I look back at both those marriages and I realize how much fear I probably created in them two wanting to commit to another individual in the future, it's pathetic, because I look at myself going, damn, I shouldn't have done those things. However, I use that as a stepping stone to get to where I'm at now, and there's no need to call you out your name. There's no reason to even yell or throw shit or whatever the hell people do.
You just, yes, you fucked up. We all do. But the main goal from that fucking up is to get to a point and to know that you fucked up and not do it again.
Right.
And the problem that we have is men, we know we fucked up. We know we fucked up this thing. And guess what we do?
Do it again.
Do it again.
It's a vicious cycle. The problem is you're supposed to take these life issues and turn them into life lessons and learn from them. If everybody was able to actually learn from them and take that into their next relationship after you spend the time working on yourself, because up until you are absolutely ready to go into another relationship, you're fearing that commitment. So I mean, it's a painful thing for everybody involved, and most women are going to be like, oh, these two are just up there sounding like they're victims. No, we're not victims. We're not victims. But even though we might have created hurt, when y'all finally left, we were the only ones left hurt.
Right.
Y'all were left with that weight off your shoulders.
Do you know the percentages of women leaving, of men and women leaving? It's higher on the women. Men, I'm gonna say this: men will stick shit out to the fucking bottom drops out, bro. But I'll tell you this: and they said, once that woman, she's like that, she's gonna leave. She's like, but they don't realize men get fed up too, bro.
It's almost like, here's your woman loving you and all that shit, and you never think that this little top could ever close. It just teeter-totters because you think that you've got her, that she's just never gonna leave.
Never gonna leave.
Do you know that the 2 times that in my both marriages, the moment that they knew they were gonna be gone, it went like this.
Oh, it was. See, now I can
And Gavin, that now it turned into the heaviest lid in the world because I couldn't get it open to get them to take me back or to work on things like that.
So you know what's funny? It didn't happen on my end.
Fear to recommit.
It didn't happen on my end. I tell you, my ex-wife, she boom, 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 boom. She took all the fucking blows I give her. That's why I think that's why we have the relationship we have today. Like I said, me and her argue still, but we co-parent great because we know now we have our boundaries, and now we know that we're doing this for the kids. We're not doing this for us.
Right.
So I was lucky on that. On you, on the other hand, like I said, y'all may not know this, but this motherfucker got a mouth, and he is not afraid to use it. I'm telling you, we'll be out in public, and Chris says shit, and I'll just sit there like. And sometimes I back up and go, okay, who's going to come and try to fight us?
And you know what? I don't want to say this is sad because I'm still low-key kind of proud of it. My first wife is the mother to my 2 daughters. My oldest daughter, she's going to see this. She's a spitting image of me.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I don't even, Angel, I feel for you, man. But I tell you what, you got yourself a good little girl there, and stick around. I like you. That's her boyfriend.
There you go. Look, got another shout out. Boom. But yeah, so let's move on to.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
I was just going to bring this up because this is another thing. I'm the guy that always keeps changing the pace. So let's.
But a change of pace is a good thing.
Let's change the pace to the fear of commitment because you were in a marriage and you have your kids and all this stuff is going great and all that stuff. Right. And I'm just going to use one thing here because it seems to be prominent in a lot of people's relationships, and it's going to touch this. It's going to make you realize how bad this subject is and will make you fear a commitment with somebody else because you just don't know. Let's say that your spouse gets cancer and painfully attacks her to no end, and you are there watching it all and your spouse dies.
I tell you the truth. That's something that I don't think I can be able to handle.
No.
I always tell. I like with my ex. I keep on going back to it. I told her, I said, look here, when we were married, if something, you gotta die before that, because I physically cannot handle that.
Well, you know what? The way I painted that scenario, most men aren't able to move on from that. Once they lose a spouse so intensely, especially like the reason I use cancer is because it's so aggressive, and it'll turn a healthy person like you and I, and it'll turn us into skeletons right in the blink of an eye within 6 months, and then you pass away. The woman that you love, let's say she was a high school sweetheart, whatever you want to keep adding to it, the fact that you love this woman so much, and her life just left her. You don't want to get into another relationship because I'm gonna tell you one thing. Yes, it's painful to break up with somebody, and so on and so forth. There's 2 or 3 billion other women out there. If you lose a spouse because of a natural cause passing, you don't recover from that hurt.
You get people,
and that hurt is going to cause you to not want to be with somebody else.
That's a good thing you said that. I'm going to tell you this. Because a lot of people don't know. If you ever if you notice when it comes to cancer, you're older in them years. You ever notice that when one passes, the other one passes in months, or maybe a year?
From pure love.
From a broken heart.
So my grandparents, exact scenario.
My great-grandparents was disaster.
Because my grandparents, which is from my dad's side, they were both each other's first boyfriend and girlfriend.
World.
They lost each other's virginity to each other.
But see, that was back in the day.
And 67 years later,
that's not back in the day.
he passes away. And 2 years later, she passes away, and it was solely because she was so madly in love with him and missed him. She wanted to go be with him.
Couldn't bear to be with him. And you know what? And that's funny. That's a different type. That's a commitment.
That's a
life.
That's a commitment that you will never see in these generations.
Never. You can't see it because it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And you know what? We're sitting here staring at two screens that you guys don't see. So in these screens are Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Twitch and whatever the else you can come up with for social media names. This is your gateway that the moment that you get upset, stressed, or anxious,
boom, I'm gone.
You can go in here and oh yeah, let me message that person.
Put them pictures up.
Yeah.
Some females go and get that what they call that fucking dress. They put that fucking dress on. You ever heard that fucking dress? Fucking dress. That's what they put on. Fuck them. Fuck them. I'm going out. Fuck them. Got the nice heels on. Fuck them. Fuck them, girl. And that's what the girlfriends are saying too. And these are the ones that you were hanging out with, kicking it with. Fuck them, girl. And then, you know what? And they the ones sitting there telling them, yeah, he ain't shit. Let's go do this. Next thing you know, they got you doing off the wall shit, knowing that you may go fucking back home.
Yeah.
And and those friends are gonna sit back, knowing what she did, all this stuff, and smile in your fucking face.
So, transition into this then. Another form of, or another thing that could cause you to fear any sort of commitment. I don't know how I want to put this, but
put it blood raw, fuck it.
Okay. You get into a relationship, now you feel trapped.
Oh God, I've been there. I've been there.
What do you do?
What do you do? I'll tell you what the fuck you do.
For some reason you don't love that person. I don't know why the hell you got in the relationship to begin with. But now you're trapped.
Well,
but let's say the person who isn't going into a relationship, because this thing is all about the shocking truth about why men are afraid to commit.
You can veer off some.
So if they're afraid to commit, one of the things that they're afraid to commit for is they themselves being trapped in a relationship. But you know, when I read about this and I wanted to bring it up to you guys, for me it's simple. If I feel like I'm going to be trapped, I'm not going to get in that damn relationship.
Look, I'm going to tell you straight up.
I'm not going to get in that relationship.
If you was looking for a situation to beat it up and leave, keep it that way.
Yes.
Keep it that way.
But keep it real with each other.
Right. Hey, I'm going to tell you straight up, I just wanted to hit it. I'll tell you, women will respect you more if you turn around and say, you know what, I just came here to knock you down. Facts. Knock me down, let me go about my way. I'll call you next time. I love them type of relationships sometimes. It's some of the best because, you know what, but then it happens that she want to be your friend and all that other stuff. And then when y'all become real good friends, and now she ain't gonna let you have it no more. Then you go to the friends. I'm like, bitch, I didn't want to try to meet you in the first place.
Our viewers probably already know by this time that
go ahead and say it.
We've both been managers, owners, whatever the case you want to be, or of gentlemen's clubs.
Right.
So our point of view is a little bit different because whenever one failed, the next 4 or 5, 10, 15
they were ready. I used to have girls telling me all the time, you know, when you're ready to get rid of her, I'm ready.
For a while there, in between my marriages, I pretty much called it Golden Corral.
You eat what?
It was a buffet.
Was you eat good, Chris?
It was a buffet.
Eating good in the neighborhood, wasn't you? I'm telling you, I'm blood raw people.
But I'm the one that has the unfiltered mouth.
Right. I'm sorry. Well, I get excited about this type of shit because, you know, a lot of people don't understand, like, now that when you get older, all the factors that you've done in your life start to hit you at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Because especially when you are just like trying to be in a relationship, you have fears now because in your early years, you were gung-ho.
Right.
You were like, man, let's do this, let's be together, you were gung-ho.
Right.
But when you get to that 25, you start thinking like, okay.
At that point, you've got to start trying to figure out, do I settle down?
Right.
Not only with a relationship, careers,
kids.
Commitments aren't just relationship related, career related. Are you going into the military? You know,
what do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
And the fact that you don't know what you want to do and you're spending year after year after year, trying to figure out what you are going to do, it's because you're afraid to make a commitment to anything that will actually be something that will take you into your future.
So what about people that, okay, I'm going to stay away from the topic a little bit because we're saying commitment in multiple fashions now. So what about the ones that are trying to, you're trying to find that person to have kids with, trying to, you know what I mean? And you try to put together like you're going to try to settle down. It's like a lot of people try to settle down, and I read this. They try to settle down from 25, I'm sorry, I'll give you a little bit more. About 26, 27, you know what I mean? And in their eyes, they feel like from 26 to 27 to 35, that's where I need to be at. If I don't find it by that time, it's not going to happen.
And it still can happen, but those thoughts are very prominent during those years because you don't want to be in your 60s or 70s with a child still in your house.
Right. We just said that. Let me tell you something. I'm telling you the truth. Somebody was coming and said, Gavin, I'm pregnant. I'm going to say, congratulations.
Well, it's funny that you were saying, you want to, in those times that age bracket that you gave, you were thinking about, okay, I want to have kids, and who do I go with to that person? Who do I find or whatever? One thing I've been seeing in our gentlemen's clubs days, they don't give a fuck.
Oh no.
They're taste testing everything. So everything has a child. And 1 baby daddy, 2 baby daddy, 3 baby daddy, 4.
Yeah, we're going to get on that baby daddy subject one day, but not today.
Yes,
Trust me,
but
that's going to be a big one.
So let me throw this other thing out to you. Mm-hmm. So let's say that you come into a relationship and you have hobbies and you have the gym or you fly airplanes or whatever the hell you do, and then you find this other person. You're doing all of these things and you're constantly having fun. I would say that another fear of commitment for men is getting into a relationship, and those were priorities. What if now they get put in the back burner because now that person becomes the priority? I would be afraid that if I was doing all of this stuff, and let's say that you ignored all the signs of this person not being engaged on all these things that you do, so you decide to get into that relationship, I would worry that a lot of those things are going to be put on the back burner.
That comes from communication.
Well, and the fear of commitment. The fear of commitment is obviously lack of communication.
If you feel that those are, I'm not saying that she's supposed to like all your fucking hobbies.
But see, that's why I said you ignored the signs.
Right.
So let's say she did communicate. Mm-hmm. You ignored that. You still, let's say you've already done it once, and you ignored it or whatever, and it turned out bad. Your priorities became a back burner scenario, whatever. Now you're out of that relationship. You've hurt. You've gone through everything that we've talked about. Hurt, insecurities, everything that's flashing through your head. You go and try to get into another relationship, you're remembering that.
Baggage.
It's not going to allow you to get over that fear that every relationship you get into now, you may lose your priorities.
And sometimes, sometimes dragging a person into a relationship can be the worst thing you could possibly do. If you sit here and I sit here and a person, let me tell you something. If a person tells you they're not with the commitment and they're not with the relationship, they want to be cool, friends or benefits, whatever they say, understand they told you what they want to do. You can't be mad when it doesn't work out.
You cannot ignore red flags. You cannot ignore gut feelings. What you can't ignore is all the haters around them. You might be going. You're going to have the group of people that know you, and they're going to tell her all kinds of negative shit, and vice versa. Ignore all that shit. The only thing you don't ignore is personal, 100%. Because of communication, toxicity, and red flags that you hear come out of that person's heart and soul.
I'm going to tell you this. People keep your friends out your relationship. They don't need to know everything that goes on. Because I'm going to tell you this. I know for a fact there are people out there, the same people that you sit here complaining to, anybody in here complains to, right? Them same people be like, you know what, girl? I told you he wasn't shit, but be in your DMs like, hey, What's up? You want to hang out? You want to go this? You want to do that? They do that.
You're right.
Your same girls be sitting here talking about.
And it's funny because you just saying that, obviously I researched a bunch of stuff we should probably talk about, but it just brought up a fear that I would have going forward into relationships, and that's constantly running into women that have a freaking ton of guy friends.
I feel I can't stand.
You can't control them. You can't tell them.
I can't stand.
In all honesty, for better lack of a word, you can't. If you know the woman has a bunch of guy friends, you can't handle that. Stay away. Go away. Or tap it and go, if that's what they know.
I'm telling you, sometimes it's better than hitting and quitting.
Yes, because all that's going to do is you're going to get in that relationship. Those guys are always going to be there. You're going to end up leaving that relationship. You're going to get hurt and all this shit. And what does that cause? The insecurity for the next woman. And you know what most guys are doing these days? I don't think most covers enough, but they immediately put on to the next woman that she's going to do the same shit.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, Chris. So, saying that, you know that you have a fear of commitment, right?
Yep.
And you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I know I'm scared to do this. Will you repeat the same thing in the next one if you haven't finished everything with the last one?
Absolutely. If you're not completely healed, if you still have lingering pictures in your phone or texts that you haven't deleted, or they hit you back up because they see that you're doing things that you talked about when you were with them.
Fucking you, I swear to God.
The thing is I'm not saying that's a negative.
You know what? I almost got up and walked away from you.
But it's not a negative thing. Because there's still something there. The good thing is that even if it doesn't lead to another relationship with that same person, it's going to put you both on a friendship type basis and give you that closure that, hey, maybe you weren't good as a relationship. You could be good friends. And yes, I can. Why? Because I always leave names out. My first wife and I are best of friends.
Right.
And we help each other all the time. Right. That's 11, 12 years ago that we went through our divorce or whatever. You can become friends with them. Now, should you with all of them?
No, because some of them just ain't worth it.
No.
You want to sit here and kill yourself.
How the hell makes a fear of commitment? I don't know, but we needed to say that shit.
Yes,
we needed to get it off our chest.
Get it off our chest. I tell you, am I have a fear of commitment? I definitely do. And the reason I say that is because I know what I do.
You know what you expect?
I know what I expect, and I know if I don't get what I want out of this relationship. And like I said, we'll go back to the last topic. If I don't get what I want out of this relationship, I'm going to keep on saying, okay, do I need to do it? It's hard, bro.
And see, it sums it up with everything that we're saying. The moment you suffer the worst breakups, the worst whatever, no matter how strong you are as a person, you're going to have fears of the same thing reoccurring. In every topic that we talked about, you're always going to carry one or two of them from relationship to relationship to relationship. Do we know if there's really a time frame for healing? Do we really know if you're going to ever fully heal?
Hell no.
I don't think you ever will. Can you learn how to deal with it and take that life lesson and turn it into a positive to where when you see these things popping its little gopher head out the hole, you can be like, you know what? I finally learned how to walk around that hole and leave that gopher the fuck alone.
Yeah, you're right. You know what, Chris? I tell you all the time, I'm with you when you're right, bro. I'm with you when you're right. But it's so hard to try to sit here and commit to something when you know that you're not ready.
Right.
I feel bad to ask somebody to commit to me if I'm not ready to commit to them.
Right.
you know what, I was about to reword that. I was going to word that wrong, but I had to go back and reword that one. It's hard to commit to somebody, to have somebody commit to you that you're not prepared to commit to them. And I say that because you'll sit here and you'll expect all these things out of that person. And then, when they supposed to squeeze over and get all that out of you, you're not going to give it. You know you're not going to.
No.
Because, you know what, I tell you.
You're afraid to give it.
Right. Because, you know, it's bad when somebody sits there and teeters. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're doing, you teeter.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, am I going to go this way? Am I going to go this way? Am I going to jump? Am I going to sit? You do that.
And I made it very clear from the beginning of this podcast. I've had 2 marriages. Both of them failed. Both of them, blame me, whatever the hell you want, whatever. The point is that I know even after 2.5 years, going on almost 3 years, I'm afraid of getting into another relationship and fucking failing all over again. I'm afraid that once those little things pop up, am I going to remember the things I learned? Am I going to be strong enough to be the man and say, you know what, you're right, or let's talk about this, or whatever, or am I going to still have that trigger that I thought I worked on, and it's going to just, boom, pop its head, flip a switch, and then here comes me talking out my mouth, or calling you out your name, or something stupid.
Because the truth is the truth.
People don't realize that fear that people harbor from relationship to relationship, or career to career, you know, let's say you've been in the same career field, and you go and you give 10 or 15 years to a company, and then they just decide to downsize and boom, you're out. You know, you're going to at some point get to a point where you're afraid to go back into that damn industry.
Go back to that world.
Yeah, and even these days, since we keep talking about, well, because we're talking about relationships, at the end of the day, society isn't making it easy for us to have the security to know that we can go into a marriage and not worry about social media or friends or, you know, everything that pokes its head out that's destroying relationships, because you can go on Google and statistically see in the United States that we're at the highest divorce rate that we've ever been for the last 10, 15 years. Why the hell would you want to commit knowing that there's a possibility that you're going to get divorced 10 or 15 years in, or 5 years in, or 2 years in?
Because it's so easy. Divorce, getting divorced is not easy. But people want to be divorced?
Yes. I've had them both. The first one was, I want a divorce, and it was simple. The second one,
we're still fighting out. We are still fighting.
I would rather jump into a ring of bulls than to try and figure out what the fuck do I need to do to get this divorce completed.
People, if one person wants to leave, okay, fine. If you decide on getting a divorce, make it happen.
Do it.
Don't draw it out.
No,
don't draw it out. If you feel like, now, don't get me wrong. If you being married still, and you see that it's a financial gain, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. It's a financial gain for the both of you. Not just one, for the both of you. I'm not mad at you. Now, but if you are just sitting there dragging that person along,
or they're dragging you along,
dragging me along, and then you want to sit here and then pop out the blue, something great happens in your life. I need half of that. What?
Yeah.
What? No.
Trust me, that's in the back of my head right now.
Yeah, I know. How Dre said, you were not with me shooting in the gym.
Yep.
Right. I truly believe that. You know, being a man in this, I'm gonna say this because it's the difference in generation gaps and all that stuff. Being a real man in this day and age is hard as fuck.
Yes.
Having to
when in our parents' early years did you see young girls going after 40-year-old men?
You never saw that.
That never happened.
Never saw that. Back in the day,
because now divorces are so high. the parents aren't together, creating daddy issues, things of that nature. Now, mind you, me and you know a lot about that. So, who is the new daddy? Us 45-year-olds.
45. Yeah. He knew I was about to say that. That's why he threw it out there. He knew I was about to say that. That's you young men. That's why you're losing them to us.
Yeah, because they just it's a totally different world.
We know how to treat them. We know how to do this. We know how to do that.
Thank God both my daughters date within their age bracket. I love that.
Yes.
I definitely love that. And you know what? For the women out there that
because I will be the old ass man.
For the women out there that have a fear of commitment to a nail tech, Nails by Brianna.
He beat me to it. I was gonna get my second 10.
I want that $10.
I was gonna get that second 10 this time.
But no, on all seriousness, man, it's a very big topic. It's a broad topic. It's something that even a lot of therapists and psychologists are dealing with at this point in life too, because it's not even just men that are afraid to get into relationships. Females have been destroyed by men for ages in control, beatings, the mouth, emotional, physical, and spiritual. They too are also sitting back here going, I relate, but these two bastards aren't going to talk about the female side. We can't because we're both men, but I can tell you what, I'm going to give you a shout out for this. I know that you ladies are out there suffering the exact same things, and we feel your pain. Even though it's a different type of pain, we feel your pain.
So let me answer this question. Let's go to this real quick. You got one down here. I like being emotionally drained.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I always say, like, when people say, oh, physical cheating, yes. But when you get into emotions...
And now the emotional draining part, that is a scenario where you've had to have gone through that already. So fast forward to that divorce or that breakup or that whatever, and you go through all the other roller coaster stages that we gave you, and that ride is just a bumpy ass one. When you get to the emotional portion of it that you were just talking about, this is now going into and possibly looking into another relationship. That fear of having that specific feeling or that specific thing happening to you and your heart and soul, it's probably one of the scariest things out there.
It scares the hell out of me every day, bro.
Yeah.
It scares the hell out of me. And people say, well, yeah, you know what, you got this and you got that. That doesn't matter. See, I always tell people, having everything in the world is great. Everything you want is great. But a lot of times, you get lonely.
You know what? It's funny the way you just nailed that on the head, because my second marriage, I was on top of the world. I had the club. It was making extremely good money. I looked really good because I was in the gym. I married a very beautiful woman. At some point in that marriage, she became very lonely. And I saw it because I have the messages. Not anymore, but the messages were there and I saw whatever.
You ignored it.
I completely ignored it.
That's what we do.
But towards the end, I felt just as lonely as she did. And nothing, it seemed like because she tried to communicate, I wasn't willing to communicate, it fell apart. All of that hurt me really, really bad. Do I have a fear? My fear factor right now is up here. Way up here. Because I don't have all those things. I don't have the same club. I don't have that same type of money. I don't have the body.
But do you feel like it's time for you to get back on the horse?
Absolutely. And look at where we're at now. Since all of that happened, he's gotten him a cigar lounge. We've gotten ourselves this podcast. We're both helping each other with digital creation on Facebook, and today, for the first time, we found out we're both getting paid on Facebook. So, have we both matured and moved on to bigger and better things? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're both back at Disney. It was so hard for both of us to make that trip back after the two specific women that we have talked about here and there that you might have picked up on left our lives. It was hard when both of us went back to Disney.
Because we were in the same places.
Same places, same things. Fireworks show.
Oh my God.
It was bad. So imagine all of those memories that you created with somebody.
You want to see a 275 pound man get emotional? That was me.
He did.
That was me. And you know what the bad thing about this?
It could make someone else.
Right.
Maybe not us. Maybe we're getting over it, and that's why. It'll make you afraid to share those memories because Disney is always going to be there. You're never going to not take another person to Disney. So you got to learn to be able to separate that stuff,
and create
grow,
new memories.
and learn.
Create new memories.
And create new
new
ones.
memories.
Yes.
Don't be scared to create new memories out of old memories.
Being scared creates fear.
Right. Being scared creates. I feel it creates a lot of things. It creates a better person because you don't want to be that same person again. It's a motivating factor in your life.
Oh yeah.
Being afraid of something will make you want to sit here and say, you know what, I want to get past that. What do I have to do to get past that?
Yes, it can create so much fuel to
It just depends if you're prepared to use it.
Yes. Once you start using it as something to fall back on and
can't move
go,
around.
that's my motivation to make this better.
And then you start. Then what you do is you start growing all those good emotions back, and then yes, you are ready to commit.
So when those emotions and those good times start to create in your body, you're starting to feel the good and release the fear.
Right.
And when the fear goes away, the good prevails.
It always does, Chris.
And you can become something better than what you're using from the past to now.
Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Is not just as men, as human beings. We get scared of something, and the first thing we want to do is, I'm gone.
Yeah, run.
I'm gone.
Run from it.
I'm running.
Run from it.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you this. And like
Use it as motivation to run towards it. And then run past it.
Go get it. Go get it.
Yes.
Go. If you want to be happy, you're going to have to get past all the bad.
Yep. Absolutely.
You can't continue. Look,
you can't be afraid for the rest of your life.
But you can't be happy and miserable.
Tomorrow is not promised. Why the hell would you want to live today in fear of your future? Whether it's career, athletics, relationship, whatever the hell it may be. Those people that live like that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. So if they pass away tomorrow, they lost out on the last few moments of their life because they were living in fear.
All right, so we're almost at time, people. Chris, I want you to do me a thing. I'm gonna throw you something around the top of my head. Right? This is what I want you to do. Give me 3 things.
Can't count that high.
Give me 3 things that can help you fix your fear. Because you haven't said that yet.
To fix my fear?
Fix your fear for me.
Let go of my past.
1.
Well, you know what? That's hard because letting go of my past covers the whole thing.
Right.
So take the negativity, fuel it for my future, and set goals, meet them, and set new goals. Meet them and set better goals. Never stop reaching for, obtaining, and setting new goals.
That was great. That was great. I love how you rolled it all into all 3 of them in one. Me, I'm gonna say not to be afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are afraid to fail. Relationships, I'm sad to say,
they fail all the time.
And they come and they go.
Yep. That's a perfect example of that. Go ahead.
You have to understand that you are not always going to be happy in the situation that you're in. And a lot of people don't get that. They always think that this is the situation we're going to be in. I'm going to be happy. Number 2 is to, like we said, create new and better memories. New and better memories.
Yep.
To be able to sit here.
That's my goal.
To be able to sit here and say that I'm gonna be this. My I'm gonna be that. I want to do this with you. I want to do this with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. Do that. And number 3, and I feel like this is how always been my biggest thing in a relationship is don't be afraid to communicate.
No. I'm going to tell you one thing. I am so wholeheartedly like...
You're big in communication. You are. I'll give you that. You're big in communication.
But I wasn't with those two. And that hits me near and dear to my heart because
you're big now.
I had to learn to get to where I'm at now. Now, you know, like they say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I'm not willing to keep my mouth shut anymore. If I'm going to be... If it makes me be alone for this much longer, then you know what? That's what was meant to happen, was me being alone that much further.
I'm gonna tell you this: when we reconnected and we talked about this and that, the podcast, doing all this stuff, I could tell in you that your communication field is completely different.
Yeah,
it's completely different. I would award you that. Everybody. Chris, you know, a lot of times, like I tell you all the time, I had to learn this. And I'm still learning that I have to be prepared to say, yes, I don't like that. Man, if you don't like it, tell them you don't like it. Don't sit there and be, oh, it's okay, baby. I know we had this plan and you want to go do this.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. When you're afraid, you're going to lose out on all the good stuff that comes in your life. And I'm talking about great people,
yes,
relationships, money,
friends,
all that stuff because you're scared to sit here and communicate and tell people that you are not happy where you're at. And that just doesn't go with your significant other. Your friends as well. If you are unhappy with what you're doing or what they're doing to you, you don't have to take that shit.
No. And one other thing.
Right,
yourself. Yourself.
You definitely got to be able to build that. A lot of people are not into self.
They forget that part. If you don't fix you first, you're not going to be good to nobody in the fucking field.
At all. You know, you're damaged goods.
You are. And you're always going to be damaged goods. And people are going to be afraid to get with you because they can still see it.
Especially, let me tell you something, especially females on the other side, bro. They see all that shit. They see when you're fucking miserable. And then, you know what? I'm going to say this too. I know time is getting short. I'm going to say it real quick though. People, you cannot fix nobody that does not want to be fixed. Oh. If that person does not want to be fixed, you cannot change them. Men, women, you cannot change nobody that does not want to be fixed.
And there's 2 to 3 billion other people of the opposite sex out there. Why are you going to waste your time trying to fix somebody, whether they want to be fixed or not? Go and find you somebody who already makes your heart and soul melt and mend together to be a solid foundation for a future.
I'm a firm believer that misery loves fucking
company like crazy.
If you are miserable,
you're going to attract misery.
You're going to attract it.
Negativity.
All day long. So, saying all that, and I said, we try to keep it short and sweet. Saying all that, I think we hit all the great facts.
Yes.
I'm going to close my end off with people, men especially, because that's what we're talking about. Commitment is always going to be the main factor in a relationship. If you are not prepared to commit, you're not prepared to love, you're not prepared to communicate, don't get into it.
Nope.
Don't do it to you and her, or whoever you want to deal with, because I know the world is different now.
Yep.
If you're going to be that person that you say you're going to be to this woman, be that. There's no such thing as a halfway quirk. I say that all the time. You're going to be all the way in or all the way out. Don't teeter. When you teeter, you're messing up you and her. Because she's not, every time that she sees something, she's not going to hear, fuck that, he's not real. Because I'm going to tell you this, I know I keep on dragging it off. Chris, I have a 90-day rule. You're laughing.
We'll make it another podcast.
You're laughing.
So,
look,
everybody,
be prepared for the 90-day rule, people.
Everybody out there, I'm going to leave you guys with this. We're going to be on all social media platforms. We want you to like, follow, share, subscribe.
All that.
If I missed a word, do it. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat.
I take all comments, and we will answer all
of it. And we will soon be going live so that everybody can, be a part of this as well with us in the moment. We're going to be on Spotify. We're going to be on Apple. Right now, we're on YouTube. We love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for, supporting us. And
the love is great, Chris.
We're going to continue to get better and better. And, sometimes we'll be nervous. Sometimes we'll stutter or there'll be some dead air. But that's because we bring it to you raw as hell. No condoms included.
Look, I like it raw anyway, baby, so you're going to get that out of here. All right, people, you are sitting here, and we love you. You're sitting here with cigars. So I said it wrong, and I made the fucking title, Chris. I made the title. Savages with cigars.
And where are we at?
We are at the Cozy Lounge. Let me give you the address. It is 198 West Bay Drive. That's in Largo. If you can see behind me right here, we have the biggest humidor in the Largo area. So if you want to come down, we have everything you need from the best cigar selection to all the accessories you need to get started. So come on down here, come and see me, Sam, Alex, Maddie. We'll take very good care of you. All right? We are out of here, people.
God bless you guys.